Everton once again in the Premier League, and we start off our preview with some good news but a bit of bad news. Luke Shaw is not available for tomorrow, but ERIKSEN has been back in training and will be in the squad for the game against Everton. That is a welcome boost to our midfield, and that will surely give us more opportunity to score goals, which is what we have been lacking as of late. ERIKSEN being back can certainly help us be more dominant in possession of the ball and have more control of games, and also be press resistant, because we know for a fact that even though McTominay is playing and has started the last two games, his skills on the ball is not so good. Ten Hag also spoke about bringing passion back into the club, and he says you have to do it every game. It has to be the standard. You have to do it, and that's the responsibility you have to deliver when playing for Manchester United. You have to be accountable. The fact that Ten Hag is demanding responsibility of these players shows his elite mentality in only wanting to win. He also said, when you are not in the top, you can do it only once. But if you want to be at the top, competing for trophies, you have to do it always and be consistent. It is our job to bring that mentality. And you see how we bounce back after losing a game or having a bad result. We have a strong mentality to go out there and get a good result. This is the mentality that only top teams can have. You see Guardiola at City, Klopp when they had that fantastic run in the few years that they had. You also see it at the likes of Bayern Munich. You see it at PSG in certain moments where they only want to win and nothing else matters. Now for us against Everton, we have been quite successful as of late with a 2-1 victory at Goodison Park and also a 3-1 victory in the FA Cup at Old Trafford. They don't have the likes of Anthony Gordon anymore, but with Sean Dyche at the helm, they certainly have a bit more defensive structure about them. Some of the players that he's had, such as James Tarkowski and McNeil, have played for him before and know exactly what he expects of them on the pitch. They will be defensively solid. They will look to sit back and counter-attack us. That's all that they have. They don't really have much goals in them because Calvert-Lewin is, of course, unavailable. And where else would you find goals in their team? Demarai Gray is an attacking threat, but sometimes, most of the time, he doesn't turn up. We, of course, have to be clinical in what we do. That will be seen as important because the amount of ball possession that we will have will simply lead us to creating chances. Those chances we need to put away simply because the more belief we give Everton that they are in the game, the more they will want to go at and maybe cause an upset. It is very common of teams to come to Old Trafford and try to turn up and cause an upset. But we've seen Old Trafford as a fortress this season, and Ten Hag has built this on a defensive structure. Just a bit of a stat for you guys. We are the team with the best home defensive record this season. But you don't hear about that simply because people only want to hear us lose. That's the only time you hear people talk about United. When we do well, the world is silent about us. But right now we focus on ourselves. We have Everton and then we have Sevilla. And we'll have Casemiro back for that game. And ERIKSEN being back as well gives us a huge boost in our midfield, as I said before. And Ten Hag has never really had the chance to call on his strongest starting 11. And maybe perhaps we might be getting closer to seeing his strongest starting 11 with the likes of Martial, ERIKSEN and Casemiro all being in the same team. Once again, Luke Shaw not being available. Again, he cannot choose his strongest starting 11. But perhaps that comes in a bit of an advantage because of seeing our broader squad being used and seeing opportunities for certain players to stake a claim in the first 11. Ten Hag is also very keen on seeing Martial stay fit from now until the end of the season. And if he can stay fit from now until the end of the season and prove himself to be a regular number 9 for us, then definitely he will have a place in the team for next season and perhaps be competing against who we might buy in the summer. For me, a simple starting 11, not many changes. Malacia coming in for sure, of course, and I would want to see Fred start because of the amount of energy that Doucouré and Onana will have in midfield. Yes, McTominay started against Newcastle and Brentford and played better against Brentford, but I feel Fred will provide us with more movement against the likes of Doucouré and Onana. Up front, of course, I would like to see Martial start, only if he is fit enough to start. We've seen him play in the second half at Newcastle. We've seen him play in the second half against Brentford. And it would be good to see him start this time around against Everton. And we see how different and more fluid our forward line is when Martial does play. With his link-up play being excellent, with his movement off the ball. And of course, we know Martial can finish. He needs to get back into the rhythm of the game. The likes of Sancho also had a better performance against Brentford and potentially can continue his progress slowly but surely back into the team and start cementing his position in the starting 11 potentially. This will be a game that will be a test for us. Everton will make it difficult for us. Sean Dyche will let his team be hard, be dogged, and be in the tackles against us to cause an upset. We need a win. 3 points is all that counts. And if we do that, we can find ourselves on a bit of a run from now to the end of the season. We are united, as I always say, and I say that with confidence. With the manager that we have, I always look to reiterate, he is the right man for the job. And he will bring us success, more than the Carabao Cup. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.